So, are we gonna get new Nintendo Switch hardware in 2023, 2024, or are we gonna even have to wait till 2025? Hey guys, Nishquick here. I'm back from vacation and I'm excited to be making videos again. And this year I kind of want to do some more opinion videos about things going on in the video game industry, whether it's regarding some of my favorite games or just the whole industry and technology in games in general. And here we go. We're going to start it off with a very hot topic, something I really wanted to talk about while I was on vacation, but I couldn't really because I was all the way on the other side of the world. But here we are. Let's talk about the next gen Nintendo Switch, or the Nintendo Switch 2, or the Nintendo Switch Pro as some people call it. So there's a long history with this system that doesn't even exist in our hands right now, and I'll give a little bit of my history with these Switch Pro rumors or Switch 2 rumors, and then I want to talk about like what I think Nintendo needs versus what I want and what I need, and what I see other people wanting and needing and maybe even complaining about. So let's get started. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Nishquick. I talk about video games, all things reviews, analysis, casual discussions, usability studies, all that stuff. So if you enjoy that, hit the subscribe button. We're actually 12, I think, about 12 subscribers away from 200. So let's hit that 200 soon, yeah. So as far as I can remember, it was around maybe 2020 is when the new Switch, new hardware talks were coming. A lot of people say it was like all the way back in like 2017, and I kind of believe it. I just wasn't really in the conversation then. So I remember 2020, the talk was Switch Pro next year. 2021, Switch Pro this summer. And then we got the OLED, which is a pretty good console. I traded my V1 in for this, but the thing is, I am of the camp that I feel that if maybe COVID wasn't a thing, if chip shortages wasn't a thing, and if Nintendo had good quality access to these components, we might have actually gotten a Switch Pro in 2021 or 2022. But of course that didn't happen. And here we are right now with the same old Switch, same old power, same old frame rates and resolutions. So what do I want from Nintendo? There is always a difference between what you want and what you need. What I want is, obviously, I want a new Switch. I want something that can play 4K. I want something that can hopefully maintain a smooth 60 FPS. Maybe something like my PS5. Maybe not exactly like my PS5, but maybe comparable to my PS5 in the sense that third-party games can run well on this new Switch. Because with the games I play now, I of course have my Switch. That is the system I actually play on the most, if you can believe it or not. But I also have my PS5 and I have my PC. And when I play third-party games, it's always on those, except for if it's like a handheld RPG that I want to play on my Switch in bed or whatever. But with my PC, I can run games at 1440p 170 FPS. With my PS5, I can go upwards of 4K 60 FPS, maybe even 4K 120 FPS. The reason I point this out is there is a big gap in terms of capability and performance and resolution and just technology when it comes to the Switch. So this thing supposedly is running with 2015 hardware with the Tegra X1. And if rumors are to be believed, the new Switch will have DLSS capabilities, which I might link to something down below which you can learn more about DLSS. But so with DLSS, a new Switch could theoretically possibly run games at 4K, maybe even at 60 FPS. So I just talked about what I want from Nintendo, but let's talk about what I need. What I need is better games. And honestly, that's what I'm getting. And I'm totally fine with that. if you guys remember, I made a video, maybe in like December or so, talking about the state of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where I very firmly criticized those games for running at the resolution and the frame rate and just all the glitches and all that. It just was an atrocity from what I saw, and it was very sad to see that running on the Switch, because, I mean, I just talked about the Switch. Resolution isn't that high, frame rates and all that. The tech isn't comparable to the PS5 and a PC or an Xbox Series X. So when you see games running on the Switch, you really are kind of surprised and taken aback by how well these developers, whether first party or third party, really optimize their games to run on the Switch and really push it to its limits without like breaking the tech or anything. Again, I'm gonna point out some really big hitters here, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a perfect example of why games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet should not be at the state that they are. Xenoblade 3 is a game that I feel surpasses so many other first-party Switch games in terms of its scope, its scale, its visuals. And the crazy thing is I was even playing it on handheld mode on the plane ride back here, and like even in handheld mode, the game was running smooth 30 FPS with 7 party members on screen. Maybe you're fighting like 5 other enemies, 30 FPS. And it's a marvel that developers like Monolith Soft can do this. Also Capcom with Monster Hunter Rise. They've done so well optimizing the game with the RE engine, and the game is smooth and it looks great. And I kind of want to try it on PC as well, just to kind of compare, but when I first played it on Switch, wow, it was truly brilliant, and it felt like a really modern kind of game. So I'm bringing up a lot of these. Of course, there's Breath of the Wild as well. I'm sure Tears of the Kingdom, which is coming out very soon, will run very well, very smoothly with all of the development years of polishing it. But now I want to talk about what other people want and need. Maybe not so much as what they need, but I will say us Nintendo fans, there's kind of like a separation. I wouldn't say separation, because in the end we're all Nintendo fans. But there are the Nintendo fans that only play on the Switch, which is fine. Switch is a great system. If you're only playing on the Switch, you're like getting a great library of games. But there are also fans like me who play on other platforms, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC. And a few people are voicing their concerns with how Nintendo is prolonging this life cycle. And especially with the revelation, the reveal, and the announcement, and the release of the Steam Deck. I, as a Nintendo fan, don't see the Steam Deck as any kind of real competitor to the Switch, but you do gotta look at that and kind of say, that is a pretty beefy kind of hardware which you like hold in your hand, you can take portably, and it runs much better than a Switch. You can play games like Elden Ring, Jedi Fallen Order, all these like third-party games on Steam, you can play them on the Steam Deck. But the thing is, a lot of people are saying, and I've heard a lot of people say, with this Steam Deck out now, and they ask me, hey Nishquick, with this Steam Deck out now, why do you think Nintendo isn't like up to snuff? Like, what's the kind of gap there? And so I kind of like wrote like kind of an essay about this. Not an essay, but I just wrote a couple of paragraphs and I sent it to some friends to get some like responses and whatnot, and some of them agree with me, some of them don't. So I want to read some of the major points from this and kind of talk about that. So me and other friends who play on the Switch, as well as other various Nintendo Switch fans, don't really care as much about graphical fidelity than other gamers. For me, if the game is fun, it's all that matters. Switch has some of my favorite games of the generation, and in my honest opinion, they honestly just don't look as bad as I think most people say. Switch first-party games run consistently at 30 FPS, if not 60 FPS, which matters more to me: consistency. If a game is genuinely fun, but may not look as amazing as something else, I'm still inclined to play it. Whenever I play a game, or judge a game, I prioritize gameplay, story, and even music over graphics. Even performance over visuals most of the time, and Switch has consistency with many of their first-party releases. Nintendo devs are very good at optimizing for hardware, as you can see in games like Zelda and all 3 Xenoblades. Sure, these games would look much better on better hardware or upgraded hardware, but with the circumstances, that isn't really an option unless you have a Steam Deck or a PC and you emulate Switch games. So that's a little bit of my thoughts, kind of like written down, more like structured. And I do agree. My whole thing is, if a game is fun, if a game is genuinely good and well made with passion and heart and sincerity, and it's a great, fun, enjoyable experience, the fact that it's on the Switch isn't going to stop me from playing it. If the game looks better on another piece of hardware, if it's a third-party game, I'll probably get it on my PS5 or my PC. Like, for example, whenever I want to get into Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, I'm considering getting that on Steam, because I want to play that on my PC. Because, I mean, it runs great on Switch, and it looks great on Switch from what I've seen, but I do want that higher fidelity PS5 experience, or I do want that higher quality PC experience for that game. But for example, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a first-party Nintendo Switch game, and I was so excited for it. But being a first-party Switch game, it's not on the PS5 or the PC or the Xbox. But the fact that Xenoblade 3 doesn't look as good as, I don't know, God of War Ragnarok didn't stop me from getting Xenoblade 3 and enjoying it to its full extent. And to all the Pokemon fans who are enjoying Scarlet and Violet, the fact that Scarlet and Violet is on the Switch isn't stopping you Pokemon fans and millions of other Pokemon fans from getting this game and breaking records. So, the thing with non-Nintendo fans viewing the Switch as some kind of, like, old, outdated hardware, it's a sentiment that I've seen a lot, and I've seen it usually come from people who don't have experience with the Switch, or are just formulating opinions based off of things they've heard in the grapevine, things they've heard on Twitter, on YouTube from other people, and not really taking their time to look into these games or even playing these games. And I've also heard people say, like, oh, why is this game running on the cloud? Why is this game not a native port? And if it's on the Steam Deck, it could be better. Well, yes, of course, yeah, with some games, they can't run natively on the Switch, like maybe Dying Light 2, Resident Evil 7 and 8, you can't run those natively on the Switch. So unfortunately, you have to take the cloud approach. But when you see like games like Kingdom Hearts, that's not a problem with the Switch. The Kingdom Hearts ports could run easily on the Switch, maybe even at 60 FPS, because if you remember, Kingdom Hearts is a PS2 game, and on the Switch, you have remasters of Wii games like Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword running at 1080p 60 FPS, which is an enhancement, a Wii game enhanced to a Switch game with that level of quality of life. Imagine what Square Enix, if they had the time, energy, effort, could have done for Kingdom Hearts on the Switch. That would have been great. That's just a little bit of my 2 cents on the subject, and I've been already talking a very long time, so I want to get to this final topic. When are we seeing the Switch? I hinted at that earlier in this video, 2023, 2024, or 2025. And that's really tough because there's a lot of rumblings of what's going on with manufacturing and rumors and NVIDIA leaks and all that. Here's what I think. I think Tears of the Kingdom is coming in May. It's not that I think. We know it's coming in May. And on top of that, a lot of people thought that Tears of the Kingdom would be bundled in with new hardware. I never thought that. I really thought that back in 2021 when we knew it as Breath of the Wild 2, and I thought it was going to release in 2021 with new Switch hardware, but whatever. That's in the past. But my whole thing is, it will release when it's ready. And what I mean by that is, Nintendo really wants to, like, get the most out of the Switch. It's climbing up the ranks. It's already outsold the Wii. It's outsold the PS4. I think it's outsold the Game Boy. All that's left is the DS and the PS2. I think they'll hit it, but I also think that they really, really, really want to take their time with this next-gen system and really polish it so that the whole hardware-software integration is really manageable for us as fans and consumers. So that means backwards compatibility, integration with your old Nintendo account, bringing all your digital games over to the new system, all that, plus putting a boost in that hardware. So that's gonna take some time, but also not only time, it's going to just take a lot of effort on their part. So my prediction, I'm saying it now, is late 2024. And a lot of people, a lot of my Switch friends are even saying 2025. And me personally, I think that's really pushing it. I think come 2025, Switch will have such a big, major gap compared to other video game systems that it'll be a little tough to kind of innovate in terms of gameplay, visuals, world design, all that stuff. So I think they should take their time, but I think that 2024 is a good kind of window for it. I think if it releases with a game like Metroid Prime 4, and I think another good launch title game for the Switch would be Astral Chain 2, because I was playing Astral Chain on my vacation a little bit, and I was realizing Astral Chain is great, but if it had that bump in performance, had that bump in visuals, it would look and feel so much better. And I was still enjoying it so much on my Switch OLED. The visuals were great, the art style is great, it runs at a very smooth frame rate. But imagine Astral Chain with that bump in the tech. That would be so cool. So here's what I think. 2024, Metroid Prime 4, and Astral Chain 2. That's gonna be a little bit of the launch lineup or launch boost for the new next-gen Nintendo Switch. So I've been talking for a lot longer than I thought, but honestly, those are just my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. This is a big discussion point recently, or this has been a big discussion point recently, with a lot of reports and leaks and rumors, and with the start of 2021 and the whole Tears of the Kingdom OLED coming out and being like, oh, there's no new hardware coming, all that. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below, when do you think new hardware is coming? Do you want new hardware? Do you need new hardware? And what do you feel about this little piece of hardware right here? Nintendo Switch OLED. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. And once again, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really, really helps out the channel. And we're 12 subscribers away from 200. Let's get there soon. And yeah, this is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day and go play some great games today.